Welcome to Married Unfiltered. I'm Ramon.
I'm Kia.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about basically being black enough. I think me and Kia both have had experiences where we felt like we had to validate our blackness, our blackhood, our blacktivity, because maybe we were around some black people and they didn't make us feel like we were essentially
black enough.
Right? So hopefully y'all can relate with this and you enjoy this podcast. So babe, tell me, how many times have you felt like you weren't black enough? Can you quantify it in numerical?
I cannot quantify it in numerical because it's always been since I was a kid. I guess not younger than a teenager. Because I talk proper, I guess, which I never thought I talked that proper, but I guess I do. And I guess like I want to be smart, so like that's me acting white, and so that's how, I don't know how often that's happened with you, but like as a kid, I guess I definitely got I be acting white or not, she's not black enough, but like kind of like acting like a white girl, and that's just Kia. She's just like a white girl. I'm like, well, damn, I'm definitely black, but I don't know. And I guess people assume being white with these, I'm gonna call them high quality attributes, actually. So, which is crazy, but that's how people quantify being white. And they say I'm being white because I'm doing something they see what white people do, but necessarily that's what we all can do. It doesn't mean it's a white person thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think growing up, for me, it wasn't that I wasn't black enough. I wasn't hood enough. I wasn't gangster. Like, I mean, although I grew up in the hood, I didn't look like I did. I didn't act like I did. I was called a church boy, a choir boy, and I am. But that's not all of who I was or am. And it was like, if you were a church boy, a choir boy, you are inherently soft. And so it's like I had to prove myself. And when I go to prove myself, it's like, if you ain't soft, then prove it. How you gonna prove it? Well, you gotta throw your hands. You gotta be able to defend yourself. You have to show that not only can you defend yourself, but you can talk shit with the best of them. And so I had to be able to defend myself and talk shit well, which were two things that, growing up, didn't come by nature, because that's not the type of person I was. I had to develop those skills. And as I developed those skills, it would be moments where I guess I would be the token black guy so often that I made white people feel comfortable, yet I would have black people think that I was basically putting on a show for white folks. And so I had to try to prove how, no, I'm really with the shits though, bro. Like, nah, I just do that shit for them people. But then I realized, I did. When I was around a lot of white people, I put on a different act. And when black people saw it, they were like, yo, you switching up. And I didn't see it that way until I took a hard look at myself, and I was like, well, all I was trying to do was assimilate to what was gonna appease the group, the crowd. And in that group and crowd, it was more of them than it was of us, so that's all I did. And then I had to realize, as I grew up in high schools and now in my professional, life, that I can be black in a white setting. I can be I can be me, essentially. I can be goofy, and and black people be like, that goofy motherfucker over there, you know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm cool with it now. Before, I would try to hide and mask the silly nature that I have, but now I'm perfectly fine with it. And growing up, you know, you gotta act hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be brolic all the time, and that wasn't my normal nature. Like I can flip it on like a light switch, but for the most part I kept it off, and I didn't have any reasons to flip it on because I was in the people, my family, kept me sheltered from all the stuff they grew up in. And so although I saw it, I was never really involved. So when I came around people who were involved and I was like this nice, sweet church kid, they'd be like, oh, he's soft. And I'm like, oh, no, don't let the smile fool you. So I had to prove, not only to others, but to myself, that not only was I black enough, but I was also man enough. Yeah. Was that deep?
Not really.
Okay.
No. I think it was high level. Being the hood enough. So would you say that as you've gotten older, you determined that you are black enough? Or, like, what do you think?
Yeah. So...
Because you said you changed. Or so, you code switch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so growing up, like stuff like listening to country music. I've always liked country music to an extent. Not all of it. Not the ding, 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 like I'm about to catch y'all. But the stuff with the beat, I've had to essentially become comfortable with the type of black I am.
That's a good way of saying the type of black you are, because I think there's multi types of black, and I think which is crazy that your own black, no white person's ever said, man, girl, you act white. It's never a white person telling me that. It's always a black person, but how they tie what equals black and what equals white. So I don't think I've ever officially gone like to the Kia's acting black. I don't know if I've ever reached that goal because I've always been myself. I've just always been me, and it's not me trying to act white, because surprisingly enough, I didn't grow up with white people. I'm like, I don't want to say the first time I see white people, because that's not the case, but the first time I was like around constantly consistent was college. And I take that back. The first time was when I went to the Coast Guard Academy thing, and that was a culture shock. I like cried calling my mom, because it was just, nothing felt right. I didn't feel like I fit in, nothing. So I'm like, when people say I act white, I'm just like, I don't even feel right around them. I don't feel comfortable, and I still today it's better, but in the beginning parts of my career, I was so uncomfortable around white people because I didn't grow up around them. And that's why it's just so surprising that I get this, you act white, but because I was raised to speak a certain, pronunciate my words, or care. No, see, look, I'm not even that smart. Look, pronunciate my words, and carry myself in a certain way. Like, I almost come off like she thinks she's too good, but I don't know.
So it's crazy because, all right, so you said, all right, because you were smart, that
I don't even think I was that smart. That's the part that, because I cared. I would never say I was that smart.
You took the time to know the stuff that the people were talking about, and at one point I was the same way. Like, I was never the smartest kid in the class, but because I had glasses and I looked like a nerd, people assumed that I was a nerd, and so I had like I had a sweet, innocent type, appearance that, well, I had to go out my way to show my friends, my peers at the time, that I had style, or I had swag, that I was cool. All the stuff that, we grew up thinking that was cool. Like, even the rap music. I wasn't a rap fan growing up. I was an R&B and Temptations, Motown, like, connoisseur. That was my stuff. But nobody that I was growing up with felt me on that. No, so I had to, like, do what everyone else was doing. And going to, like, education, I studied hard. I tried, but I was the smartest kid in the class. But I remember getting made fun of because it was, oh, look at Ramon over there, trying to be a nerd, talking about he gonna go to college and do something. That motherfucker ain't gonna do nothing. And it's like, the fact that I had a goal,
that you care,
you know, and an ambition beyond like playing football or playing basketball. Some people thought that was a bit lame, and I just couldn't. For me, the life of me, I couldn't understand that. And I had to grow into that. That's okay. That's okay that I had a ambition.
Do you still feel that way? Like, this is how basically what white people do is what makes, I'm trying to say this, like, when someone calls you acting like you're not essentially acting black enough, do you think you're over that now, or is that something you still?
No, I think I'm over it. So growing up is like the lack of opportunity. So I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that there was more jobs outside of the trash man that, you know, came through picking up the trash. I didn't know it was more jobs outside of the mailman. And a lot of those people I saw were black. So I didn't know that there were, like, say, the stuff like you do. I didn't know about corporate America. I didn't know that jobs in corporate America even existed, nor was available to me. And now, you know, black people that I'm around, that's mainly all we talk about now. You know, the dynamic have shifted, like being in the stock market. That was for white people who knew how to take care of that, you know, not say take care of them, but trusted the system to put their money into it. And I'm like, now, we all walking around here with 401s and Roth IRAs. These were concepts that honestly I learned from white people. So, if I had not came across some cool ass white people, then I would probably be missing out on a lot of good information. So I'm happy that I no longer have that mentality.
But you know what I think is like concerning from this conversation is us saying that success means white people and poor or the same old means black. And I think that's the part that sucks, because I don't think that's ever been people gotten out of that mindset. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know, but
I think that's
I can't say within the past 10 years anyone said you're acting too black or but definitely
growing up.
But I'm saying my early 20s too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in my early 20s, but I can't say now, like, I might be too black. Shit, I don't know. like, in the world I am now, I am very much myself.
Yeah.
And
in the world you in now, you ultra black.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't think that no one's like, she's not acting black enough, because I'm acting me. But when I was growing up in a predominantly black area, black neighborhood, to them, because I cared, because I wanted more for myself or whatever, I was acting white. So like, this is where I'm saying the problem is that white equals success and black equals unsuccessful. And that's a terrible way to look at things. And like, kind of watching what you say when you say you acting white, when I know you just think it's a joke. And I even used to be like, oh yeah, that's me, but that's not funny and that's not okay to tell people that shit. So yeah. Because you are degrading the black race as if the only way we can be successful is if we do white people things, as you would call it.
Yeah, if you switch up and you basically go with the other team, then that's the only way you're gonna be able to make it to the mountaintop.
But all those things that we think that only white people can do is out there. Just it's for us to not. It may be harder, and that's a whole nother conversation. But you can't equate success to white people and unsuccess to black people.
Yeah. And
using that, because that stereotype can bring people down. Because I kind of feel like, I told you this before, that because I necessarily didn't feel black enough, I kind of had to, in this way, prove myself. Not that I was fighting or anything to prove myself, but like doing just, I want to call it, acting more like them. That's the only way I can say that, maybe, because I don't want to say I'm acting hood, or because I'm not, but trying to give off of that vibe just enough so I can blend in and feel comfortable, and that I'm not just the black girl trying to act white, or like standing out just enough so I can move through.
Yeah, I think growing up, like I grew up in my upbringing was so condensed with black people that we didn't understand. We didn't have a knowledge of anything beyond our community, and to do anything outside of what a normal black person was doing was essentially to be white.
Yeah.
No matter if you were playing basketball, like if you shot the three, it was yo, that's white people shoot, black people dunk. Like it don't matter what it is. Like if you play football, like we're not looking for black quarterbacks, we looking for the white ones. So y'all the running backs. No matter what it was like.
That's true. You know, like I love pop music, like for real, like yeah, that was me. But then
I like country, but like
it's like, oh, that white people shit. Don't get me wrong. Now I still knew. I don't know why I knew the rap music at that age, but I did. But I to this day I still like pop music, and I'm never going to take that away from me because I enjoy it. But
you just can't put us in a box. Like
you can't put anyone in a box.
Like the same person that may be black that may like pop music or country can still turn around and listen to Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, or anybody else. And still be 100% who they are. And I just think growing up, it was hard for partly people in my generation, cats that's about 35 years old, you know, to be comfortable with that. And now as times change,
I think now it's probably a lot different. Just especially a lot of the mixed race and just easy, like kids just have a lot more open and understanding. But I do remember like growing up, that's why I said with maybe in the past 10 years I don't think that no one said that to me, but definitely my early 20s, I was old enough to drink, so my early 20s where she acting white, or you ain't gotta worry about her, she would tell a white girl she whiter than you. The fuck does that mean? I had that and someone said that to me too. Like it's okay, she act whiter than you ain't gotta worry about her.
Yeah, I may have to switch that up. So I do, huh?
I mean, worry about. So basically, real behind the background behind it.
Yeah, you gotta
people was it was somebody's boyfriend said something like, I guess in a negative light about me or whatever, and in a way that like, I guess could come off like I be fighting, which I don't. That's why I don't understand. But basically, it was a lie essentially. But the friend basically says, you ain't gotta worry about her because she whiter than you. She's fine. Like she was, I don't know if the girl was scared or she didn't feel comfortable, whatever the case was.
She was trying to
regardless of all of it, the thing to take away from here was don't worry about it because she whiter than you. Yeah. You act more black than she act black. Like that.
Yeah, that's effed up.
Yeah. But it's also essentially at the time it didn't seem like hurtful, you know, and I guess I didn't think twice about it either, and not till I would say my late 20s when I really started realizing that it's you good to be you. Like look what you've done being you. You didn't have to be someone else to get there, you know, and it's okay. And I mean today I feel way more comfortable in my shoes and can't nobody tell me shit.
Yeah, I like you know, as a youth, as a youngster growing up, you don't really learn about your black history, especially in Texas. That ain't even top conversation unless it's Juneteenth, which is coming around the corner. But unless it's Juneteenth or like you and the family, that's a topic of conversation on the daily. And a lot of those people, like that was growing up, that made a lot of our history. Those individuals made great strides to let us have the opportunity that we have today. And the fact that at one point I felt like I had to validate my blackness by attempting to be gangster, because that was
associated
model
with blackness.
That is completely abstract, that was put on us. I felt like growing up, I didn't know any better. I didn't know about the intelligent and upstanding and civil black men and women in my history. I learned about what they put on the news, and a lot of people that I grew up with, that's how they learn. And then you add growing up in the hood, then that's those the cats that we see with money, and that it's like, yo, this is the way we got to do it. And I'm happy I joined the military because it gave me an opportunity to see a lot of things differently. But being able to start learning about my history, starting to like really wanting to do something better than what my family was doing at the time, I realized it's not about being black enough. It ain't got nothing about with your skin color at all. It was about how successful do you want to be and what are you going to do to get there. And like going to school, taking sacrifices, not doing the stuff that's going to end you up in jail were the keys. And those were the keys that I chose to take. And now I'm reaping some of the fruits of that labor. I see how, like, even when I look at my Facebook page, how the folks that kind of like talked about me not being black enough are probably not in the better situation.
That's how I feel.
They ain't what they I'm just saying, if some folks probably will want to change positions, you know, like, hey, you want to switch? I'm happy I chose the route I chose. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people that's going to hear this are probably going to think, hell yeah, I in some shape, form, or fashion, that they weren't black enough too. And I hope anyone that's listening to this no longer feels that way. But if you do, hell, let us know. We'll talk to you. We'll try to, you know, let you know that you are worthy. You are worthy enough. And we talking about being black enough. Please understand, it's because I'm black. If there's an Asian enough or Hispanic enough,
to your race.
Yeah, like, you know, let me know. I don't know anything about that one.
I'm very sure people feel that same way too, like other races.
Yeah,
that the minorities.
Even if you ain't white enough, like whatever that is, if that's a thing, I would love to know if someone feels like they ain't white enough. I'm like, oh, do tell. Like, I'm all ears. Please let me know if that's a thing.
Yeah. So I would say, I think one part to add on to this, you kind of mentioned like code switching. I do think that is two different things from being acting yourself or not. But when you get in certain situations, you do have to adjust to that situation. When you're in a certain situation, you adjust to that area. So like, I don't think that's acting fake or not being yourself, but you're adjusting to the room. So I just think that when I'm with you or when I'm with my friends, I act one way, but when I'm at work, I don't act the same way as I would with my work people. But I am still authentic to me. Now, I will still talk with my hands. I'll still shake my head and do, you know what I'm saying? But like, when I'm talking, I'm not cursing every other word. I don't curse at work at all, actually. And
I curse all the time.
Yeah, I don't curse at work. But if you around me outside of work, I curse all the time. But I don't curse because that's just something I think is inappropriate personally. But you know, it is what it is. But I find it inappropriate, and I think, especially still, I am black, so still being black, I do think you get pinpoint, and certain things you can say can come off more aggressive than others. So that's why I don't curse at work. But anyway, so that two parts of that is the code switching piece at the end. Is like, I think code switching is still important to some extent because you have to recognize that just how you are at home does not mean you can take that wherever you go. And I mean, shit, even when you travel outside the country or travel, you can't still act a certain way. So if you want to call that fake or not acting your authentic self, I think it's just adjusting to your environment.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that earlier, I was more making reference to me literally, like, my whole, even my voice inflection would change. Like, I'll be like, hey, what's going on, to, hey guys, how's it going? Like,
but you say I do that all the time.
But that'd be over the phone. I'll be doing that stuff and right in people's face, then turn right around and be like, yeah, man. And cats be looking like, yo, you literally, like, you made yourself. I actively tried to make myself come off to be
less aggressive, like less
of me.
Yeah.
I shrunk myself down to make someone else feel
comfortable.
more comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like just being able to act proper in the right setting.
Okay.
But like whenever
when you make yourself less than to appease someone else.
Whenever you feel like you got to shrink yourself to make someone else feel more comfortable, there's something wrong with that. And I had to identify that that's what I was doing. I didn't realize at the time, but like I said, as I grew older, and you know, I had basically some black people pull my card, like, why are you doing that shit? And I'm like, what you talking about? And then when they told me, I was like,
but you don't even realize it.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take, honestly, I don't take any counsel, even if it's criticism, I don't really take it to heart. I try to understand why people say what they said. And that's what I did. I tried to understand why they said what they said, by getting angry at what they said. And then I was like, okay, cool. I mean, that in my opinion was the character flaw that they identified, and I fixed it. So like, yeah, I just want to make the, add clarity to that.
That is more clear.
Yeah. Where we at now?
I think we good, boo.
All right. Well, I don't know even if we got to say this anymore, but like,
subscribe,
share.
Yeah, that's all I got. On the multiple platforms of YouTube and the podcast this is.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Thank you to our 35.
No. Yo, we had 56, but then we lost a subscriber.
How we lose a subscriber?
We probably ain't posting enough.
Oh, weak as shit.
We lost.
My throat.
We lost a subscriber on YouTube, y'all. So anybody that's listening to this and not watching it, share my shit. They're like, why you ain't famous then? Because you ain't share my shit.
All right, then.
This is Married and Unfiltered.
And we like to keep it that way.
Well, we may not. It's our prerogative.